Got to plug this in before a whole bunch of extra noise starts to come through. Pardon me. Let's make sure this is up and running as it should be. Yep, it is. Yep. All right, we're good. So, hold on, let me close my door. All right. Yo, peoples. Long time no see. Read the title. Okay, so let me bring the page up right now. Okay, it doesn't read the title out on this first page, but let me go and get the formalities out of the way. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, bringing you yet another chapter of My Hero Academia. Last we left off in chapter 261. We see Mirko going up against a lot of the high-end Nomu that Daruma left behind, and he's still making his escape, and we have like a scale hero making his way into the lab as well to, give Mirko a hand, while the rest of the heroes are dealing with dozens of other Nomu who are going rampant throughout the hospital. But thankfully, they managed to get all of the people who are inside of the hospital evacuated, so now the heroes... Did I not do it right? Read the title of the YouTube. It says 252 and suits. Oh, I knew I messed it up. Hold on. Let me see if I can edit that right now. I meant to put 262. I knew it was something wrong. Hold on. All right, live. Details and 262. All right, the changes should be good now. So try and refresh the page and see if it changed the title for you. I'm going to double check on my end and make sure that it's still there. Yep, it now reads out 262. All right, thank you, What If MHA. Thank you for letting me know that, because otherwise that would have been bad and it would have been a disaster. But thankfully, it worked out just fine. So let's go ahead and move on with this chapter. As I was saying, a lot of the Nomu that were inside the hospital are running rampant in there now. So now we have to see and find out what's going to happen to the heroes like Mirko, just how strong. Hopefully we get to find out just how strong she is. Let me refresh this page so it can actually be scaled. All right, so chapter 262, and we got a high-end Nobu just in the hallway right now that's really, really huge. And he says, "Guy, it's too cramped." And apparently he's too big for the hallway while another hero's trying to hold him back. What? Is that Nomu talking? Gentlemen! And we have the scale hero. Hey, we finally get his name, but I'm going to read that as we go down. There are more of these things up ahead. We must hurry to Mirko's side. Number 6 hero, Crust. Right, I forgot he is a top hero. But the face I remember, but the names I didn't. And I don't know why I forgot. I neglected to actually look up who this hero was. But he's the number 6 hero, Crust. Quirk, shield. His entire body can produce shields. So basically, he's pretty much not only just shields, but shields that can also cut into things as well. So a more offensive, a more blade type of Bartholomeo's Devil Fruit with barriers, because he can pull up shields and he can just send them and he can hit people with blunt force. But I don't know if he can create bladed barriers from that. So the fact that Crust can do that, that's really a much of an edge, because he embeds 2 shields into this big old Nomu. That's not enough to finish me off. This poor walking cadaver. Nomu. Corpses remodeled to possess multiple quirks. With no will of their own, they can only act accordingly to their programming. Hey, cool gay, sorry I didn't say anything to you. They're divided into lower, middle, and upper tiers depending on how many quirks they have and their physical enhancements. Those in the upper tier are at least as strong as 10 average people combined. Standing above all of them are the high-end Nomu. possessing stats beyond those of the upper tier Nomu. They exhibit the personality traits of their host bodies and have a high capacity for independent thought. So the first Nomu we interact with in the entire My Hero story, he's basically just an upper tier. It's basically just an upper tier Nomu, but it's not a high-end Nomu. That's why I handpicked the most battle-crazed villains. Even preparing those candidates took immense effort. And this is Daruma because he's in his lab still. Artificially transplanting a quirk involves complex surgery and at least 3 months to fully take root. Without all for one's power, producing more high ends is an uphill battle. At this point, it says woman here instead of women. At this point, only woman and the other 4 had any. Oh, so that's what it's called. It's just simply called woman. The female, the lady. No high-end Nomu that we saw in the previous chapter. At this point, only woman and the other 4 had any sort of trivial trial run, and just barely at that. I'm so sorry for cutting and running, my little ones, but please try your hardest. Now that I've lost Johnny's warp and Mocha's double. And in this panel, it has the Johnny Nomu and the Mocha Nomu floating up as if they're little angels. We know they're not because they were made with evil intent. Bye-bye, we were already dead, actually. Because, Nomu are made from the cadavers of dead people, so they're not actually truly alive. Shigaraki and I have no way to flee this place. Completion progress at 70%. So, Shigaraki is still undergoing treatment. Oh, we got the title. We got the title of this chapter. Number 262, Mirko, the number 5 hero. Oh, we about to find out how strong the bunny woman is. But apparently Shigaraki is not done with the operation that Daruma has been working on him on, because it only says 70%. In which case, while you 5 are doing your best out there. And then it cuts to an image of Shigaraki floating in a Bacta tank. I'm just going to call it that now. And then Mirko comes out of the wires and she hears what's going on. So that's pretty much her quirk, her bunny quirk, her rabbit quirk. So he's deeper in the lair. The old fart can't get away. He's cornered. You're just clacking away back there, huh? And she just pulls herself out of the wires up there. Sure, her head is still bloodied from getting thrown into the wall by one of the high-end Nomu, but the fact that she's getting up so casually and she's ignoring it. How can she still move? Must be stopped. I will kill. Number 5 hero, Mirko. Wanna know? My legs canceled out the impact. And the jump from that was enough to leave a shockwave. Like, the aftershock of her jumping away was enough to cause, like, a massive, like, impact explosion. I don't know the correct term for it. I know there's a term for it, but it caused that. Quirk Rabbit. And the lady Nomu reels her head back. She can do whatever a rabbit can, but even better. You're first, you dumb old fart! And she pretty much jumps past all the high-end Nomu and starts to make her way towards Daruma. But the Nomu who has like the long hair plait tries to go after her. We must brutalize. Those are our orders. And she gets caught up in what looks to be hair, but it almost looks like it has the texture of bone, and all the other high-end Nomu try to surround her. And before they can even react, she embeds both of her feet in opposite directions into both sides of the Nomu that are trying to jump at her. But it looks like hair spikes, maybe marrow bone spikes that functions like hair, because one of them manages to scratch her arm. And the Nomu says, too shallow, knocked my aim off. So one of them manages to scratch into her leg a little bit. Luna Ring! And she pretty much does a full-on forward backward split and just sonic rolls the heads of both the I want to say the heads of both of the Nomu that are trying to go from her front and back as well. Oh, no, the hits were too shallow. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, she did the Luna Ring first, but she says that the attack was too shallow for it to actually do anything. While she was doing the move, she gets hit in the leg by one of those hair spikes, and it throws her aim off. That causes the wound to be too shallow. Then that same hair Nomu tries to get at her again, and all she says is, "Screw you!" And she launches towards him. Luis Antoniotto. Yes, this is awesome. Just from the fact that she's fighting so hard. And the hair Nomu is trying to go after her, but Mirko is literally demolishing all of his, like, I want to call it hair, but we don't know exactly what this quirk is. But he's trying to hit her, but he keeps missing, and she is literally destroying it along the path that he's trying to stab her in. Eat this! And before she can get towards his back, so apparently it is bone related because he causes a whole bunch of bones to pop out from his body to shield his back. And all of a sudden, her arm starts to warp away. Whoa! Did they just... they just warped around her left arm, and it looks like it crushes it. Did they just crush her left side? Like her left arm? Won't sit still. That freaking hurts! Luna fall! And even though it looks like she lost her left arm. Yeah, she lost her left arm. But she still manages to land a blow on the bone Nomu and just bodies him into the ground. And she starts cartwheeling towards the Nomu that compressed around her arm, like Kamui from Naruto. He basically did that to her arm, and now her arm is gone. But she cartwheels towards him. You dive in undaunted. Guys who fight with ranged moves don't tend to do so hot in close quarters. And she just lands, legs first, right into his face. And he says, die. And she says, sure. And she, like a luchador, just loops around and twists his neck. And in the process, takes his head completely off. She put this man into like a foothold. Put this Nomu's head into a foothold and twisted around and tore his head completely off. How are y'all going to do that in animation? Because I know y'all love to censor stuff. How are y'all going to display Mirko tearing another thing's head off completely? And she smashes it into the ground with enough force that you see the eyeball of the Nomu, and it also crushes his helmet. But let me just go back here because I kind of skipped over something. He says, die. She twists around and breaks his neck, and she says, sure, but only when it's my time. Takes his head completely off and just destroys the rest of him. And then she tugs on her arm. Can't keep doing the job while ignoring this. I guess crushing your noggins does the trick. That makes you way easier to deal with than the average villain. I live every day of my life like there's no tomorrow, so that's when my number's up. So that when my number's up, I can check out with no regrets. No way this horde of zombies is gonna end Mirko the hero. And then we cut to Mirko, I think her name is. She should be the number 2 hero. Well, I mean, we got Hawks. We got Hawks in place of number 2. And sure, he did a whole bunch of things, but we still need to look. We still need to see more of Hawks before we start to realize why they put him in place of number 2 instead of Mirko. Because Mirko right here, she is a bad bunny. But we cut to the Liberation mansion out in the forest. Sorry. Bubaigawara, you've done it now! Where's that fool, darn it? This couldn't be worse. I've been keeping a close eye on Hawks from the start. He never acted suspicious in any way. We've been deceived, but it wasn't my fault. Bubagawara is to blame. Heroes are coming! And as he says this, the mansion looks like it's starting to be pulled apart completely, like it's being split down the middle. So, yeah, and it says next chapter hits March 8th, so that's going to be coming up next week. Whew. So, what can we take away from this chapter? I'm not going to spend too long on it because I tend to go through this pretty fast. But the thing we can take away from here is Mirko is crazy strong, taking down high-end Nomu. Like, do you realize what this means? In a way, if you were to put her power scaling against those of Endeavor, sure, he's the number one hero, but she just took down a Nomu, multiple Nomu, and specifically a high-end Nomu in less time than Endeavor did with high-end, with the first high-end Nomu that we saw. Because in a matter of panels, she fights him, and then she kills him. Endeavor almost lost the fight with the high-end Nomu and used every ounce of his power to beat him. Is Mirko stronger than Endeavor? As you know, when it comes to quirks, they always have some sort of drawback where you can't just be so OP you can't use it unless you're, all for one. I don't think those high-end Nomu were ready though. Oh, right, you are right. They weren't completely ready. So they're not on the, even though they're high-end Nomu, you are right. Sorry. I just remembered that. They are not fully complete yet. He just pushed them, Dharma just pushed them out on Mirko because he needed some way to distract her so he can get away. So you are right. So I imagine if they actually took time to, fully develop, might have given Mirko the same sort of raw deal that Endeavor had. So no. So you're right. These high-end Nomu are a lot weaker than the ones than the one that Endeavor fought. But what can we take away from this chapter? The fact that Mirko is crazy strong at just the number 5 hero. So I can't wait to see like the number 4 and 3 and see just how strong they are. But we also, and that's pretty much this whole chapter. She says she lives her life to the fullest so that when her time's up, she can leave with no regrets, but she's not going to die here. So in the process, she gets her left arm completely compressed and torn away. Like in this one panel, she actually uses a little bit of her hair to keep the rest of her arm from bleeding. And she just ties her hair in like a sling so that she can stop the bleeding on her left arm. So she uses, and because she's got really long hair, but she uses it to just tie up the arm and keep her arm from bleeding out. But even after getting launched into the back of the room with enough force to cause blood to draw from her head, and even getting her left arm completely torn off by the compression or, warping Nomu beforehand, she still managed to kill one of them and take another one of them down, despite their best efforts to take her down. So that only leaves 2 more Nomu. There's the big fat Nomu that she tried to, kick with Luna Ring, and the woman Nomu that she hit in the face, but this attack was too shallow because the bone marrow Nomu kept her from, hitting them square in the head and actually killing them outright. So those 2 Nomu are still around. And her focus is still on Daruma. Like, she's just fighting these Nomu, but her focus is still trying to go after Dharma. And another thing about Dharma, he kind of explains the process that it takes when it comes to creating Nomu, and the fact that he doesn't have access to all for one just means that his ability to create more Nomu has been significantly reduced. And not only that, let's actually go back to that panel so he can explain like the whole process of it. Artificially transplanting a quirk involves complex surgery and at least 3 months to fully take root. So even though he can put Even though he could put a quirk in the body, it takes 3 full months for it to actually fully take root in the body and become usable by that Nomu. Without All For One's power, producing more high ends is an uphill battle. So it's even harder for him to create these Nomu without All For One around. All For One has to do is to take the quirk and transplant it into the body that Dharma is making. And that really cuts out the whole surgery middleman there. I'm so sorry for cutting and running, my little ones, but please try your hardest. But another thing we see is the fact that whatever operation Dharma has been using on Tomura Shigaraki, it is 70% complete. So I don't know if it's going to reach completion by the end of the battle, or if he's going to keep Tomura Shigaraki still hidden. I don't know how fast this process is going, because he only needs 30% more for the full operation to be done, or for whatever reason he has Shigaraki inside this vat, I guess resting up. But from this panel, you can see when it shows the title card, when it shows the title for this, you can kind of make out in some ways veins along the arms of Tomura Shigaraki. And as far as I know, Tomura Shigaraki is not a muscular guy. But the way he's drawn here, he kind of looks a little bit like he's got a little bit more meat on his bones than he did before. But and it was at 70%, and then it goes up to 71%. So I feel like it's going slowly, the whole process of where he's gonna finish, of when he's gonna finish the operation. I feel like it's gonna go like kind of slow, but not too slow. It's gonna take days. I feel like before the day that these heroes are fighting all these Nomu is over, Tomura Shigaraki is going to wake up, and then he's going to be out and about, and then we're going to see just what fruits of labor Dharma has put into Shigaraki in order for him to be like the true successor for All For One. Who do you think is going to die next? Which hero? I think Mirko is going to die. Villains are losing, and another thing. After all this fighting that Mirko was doing against all these Nomu, we cut to the Paraliberation mansion out in the mountains, and we only get like 1 page of them before the chapter ends. But the dude that works with the computers and keeping an eye on Hawks, the guy that I gave a Russian accent to when I was reading the chapters earlier throughout the months, he's crying out that Twice has done something, saying, Bubai Gawada, you've done it now. Where is that fool? This couldn't be worse. And he knows that he's been keeping a close eye on Hawks from the start. He's never acted suspicious in any way, because Hawks has been very smart, because they put ways to track his movements, who he's talking to at any given time. So Hawks has actually been really like the best cover agent, because he's managed to get information to the heroes without anyone actually finding out. And the fact that he's been watched this whole time, and he still managed to get all this information out to the heroes, where they were, what's going on, the hospital that's going on, just shows you just how good of a double agent Hawks really is. I know when I looked up Hawks the first time, and I saw him meeting with the Paraliberation Army before they joined with Shigaraki and the rest of them, I was thinking, wow, this man, he's the traitor. And then I come to realize that no, he's actually a double agent. He's just behaving like a traitor so he can get more information on the League of Villains and whatever they're doing. But the fact that he's managed to get all this information out to all the heroes thus far without being caught, and even kind of in a way manipulate one of the other more gullible members of it to, divulge even more information, therefore offering more information for the heroes, it just shows you how good he is at espionage and gathering information. So it's no wonder he's the number 2 hero. But that's just from like a whole spy mindset. When it comes to combat capabilities, we still need to see a little bit more of that. Even though we've seen a little of it in the past, I want to see more to see why they have him at number 2 and not Mirko, because Mirko is out here murking people. Mirko the Murker, just out here just jacking everybody's stuff up. But it ends with the info guy, with the info member. It ends with the info member screaming that the heroes are coming, with what looks to be like a the building that they're staying in being ripped apart straight down the middle. So I don't know if it's Mount Lady who's ripping the building apart or if it's another hero who's doing this. I don't think Hawks is good at combat. Well, I mean, his feathers, I have to look at his quirk again. Actually, you know what? Let's actually look at his quirk so we can kind of gauge what it is. All right, so his quirk is called Fierce Wings. Fierce Wings is a mutant type quirk that grants Keigo, Hawks, 2 large red wings made of dozens of feathers. Keigo can freely manipulate each individual feather using his mind. The fully feathered pair of wings give Keigo the ability to fly at incredible speeds. Feathers can be detached to perform individual tasks, and the user shares a telepathic connection with these feathers. The feathers are both stiff and flexible, as a single feather is strong enough to easily move a person around. They also vary in size, strength, and even cutting ability. Each individual feather acts as sensors that can feel people and objects around them by feeling the vibrations they produce. This widens the range of the user's senses, allowing them to use their feathers at a great range. And the weakness that we see is if too many feathers are detached, Keigo's flying abilities will worsen and limit his mobility. As long as the feathers remain intact, they can be reattached to the user's wings. If feathers are destroyed in some way, the main wings will regrow them within 2 days. So that's pretty much the weakness of Hawk's quirk. Keigo mainly uses his quirk to fly and fight at great speeds. Keigo's quirk has made him the number 2 pro hero and one of the fastest fighters in the world. So he does, in fact, have good combat power. In fact, got hiccups. Keigo subdues common criminals so quickly his subordinates only serve to mop up while Keigo moves on to his next target. His speed even rivals that of High End, who possesses multiple enhancement type quirks. So he's fast and capable in combat. Keigo also makes great use of his feathers to save people from disaster. He can manipulate each feather and dedicate it to saving one person, using it to float them away from danger. By spreading his feathers out throughout a large area, Keigo can expand the reach of his senses to detect every vibration someone makes. He possesses great finesse and skill when using his feathers. Despite being the current number 2 hero, Keigo is aware of his quirk's weakness and will not exhaust his feathers unless absolutely necessary. He also recognizes that his quirk does not boost his overall brute strength very much. To compensate, Keigo can use his feathers as bladed weapons. Combined with his speed, Keigo can swiftly slice through enemies or fire off smaller arrows from his wings like daggers. So he essentially has a wing full of weather blades. Wings full of feathered blades. Why did I say weather blades? Wings full of feathered blades. When paired with a power type like Endeavor, Keigo can thrive in a supporting role when facing a top-level hero like High End. By attaching his own wings to Endeavor's back, Keigo could help Endeavor fly and grant him enough speed to compensate with the aforementioned Supernomo. So Hawks does in fact have combat capabilities. We just haven't seen very much of it outside of the fight that Endeavor had with Ahaya and Nomu back then. We haven't seen him just go one-on-one with like a full-on villain. We just seen him in a more supporting role, helping out Endeavor during that fight. So I feel like we still need to see Hawks just go all out and just see just how combat-oriented he really is with his quirk. But other than that, yeah, he's actually quite a capable fighter, and the fact that he can get from point A to point B using that same type quirk, I actually understand why he's the number 2 hero. He's literally one of the fastest fighters in the world, and like I said, like it says here, he moves so fast when it comes to subduing criminals that he literally just leaves his subordinates have to mop up what's left because he's already gone off on a whole nother different crime that's going on. But it doesn't look like there's no other chapter right here. So that's it for chapter 262. We are not going on break, so I'm looking forward to the next chapter that we're going to get next week. Not only that, but I think One Piece is going to be, I think it's on break. Hold on. I'm pretty sure it's on break. Next chapter comes in 7 days. Oh, no, it's not on break. So we're just going to get one this upcoming. Well, it is on break because it's not out today. So it's currently on break. So we're going to get one next week. So we're going to get another chapter of My Hero, and we're going to get another chapter of One Piece. So I'm looking forward to those. All in all, this was a pretty good chapter. We got to see the capabilities of Mirko. I like this chapter because I love it when I get to see heroes, push past their limits and just take down villains. But the fact that when you see heroes just taking down villains that can normally kill just most heroes, no problem, and you see them end up killing them, it's good because I love to see how heroes fight. Sure, we see them mentioned, but we don't get to see them go all out like we should, or at least I feel like one would like the first time we see them. And not only that, but I feel like we're going to eventually see the capabilities of all the rest of the top tier heroes. I mean, we see Mirko already, but then we have Crust, who we only see use his shields to keep back a super fat Nomu in the hallway that leads into the morgue. And that's all we've seen from him. And he's a number 6 hero. So we haven't seen much from him. But I feel like we're going to see the capabilities of a lot of these different heroes as the chapters go on. And not only that, but now that we're at the Para-Liberation Front mansion in the forest, where a lot of the other top tier heroes are, then we're going to see them fighting all the people that are in there. And yeah, it's about to be a full-on war. If you thought Deka City was something, then this feels like it's going to be something even larger because all their forces are here in this one giant mansion in the mountains. So I can't wait to see how that goes. But I've already droned on for too long. That's just my opinion on everything. Sorry if this is a little bit short, but I just wanted to go ahead and get through this and just give you my thoughts on this reaction as a whole. Still have an episode of One Piece to react to, so I'm going to do that and take care of that a little bit later, and that video is going to be up before the day is through. I'm just going to take a quick break real quick before I start doing that. So you guys let me know what you thought of this chapter as a whole. Hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in the next video. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.